The Terran Dominion, Beginnings. Chapter 12. The Silent Intruder. Captain Yosef stood on the bridge of the Venus, his undetectable destroyer, gazing out at the distant stars. The sleek, black hull of his ship was designed to blend seamlessly with the darkness of space, rendering it virtually invisible to sensors. Venus was a marvel of Terran engineering, equipped with advanced stealth technology that allowed it to slip past enemy defenses undetected. Yosef's patrol in the Zeta Trianguli system had been uneventful thus far, but he knew that could change at any moment. The command panel beeped, signaling an incoming transmission. He activated it, and the stern face of Admiral Darius appeared on the screen. "Captain Yosef," Darius began, "I have a new mission for you, one that requires your unique skills and the capabilities of Venus." Yosef straightened, his eyes narrowing with interest. "What is the mission, Admiral?" Darius leaned forward, his expression intense. "We need you to infiltrate Drakvian Prime and plant surveillance drones. The information we gather will be crucial for our strategic planning. Your destroyer is the only ship capable of slipping through their defenses undetected." Yosef nodded, a sense of determination settling over him. "Understood, Admiral. When do we depart?" "Immediately," Darius replied. "Time is of the essence. The drones have been prepped and are ready for deployment." "Good luck, Captain. The success of this mission could turn the tide of the war." The transmission ended, and Yosef turned to his crew. "Prepare for hyperspace jump to Drakvian Prime. We have a mission to complete." The bridge buzzed with activity as the crew worked to ready the ship for the jump. Within minutes, Venus slipped into hyperspace, the stars stretching into lines of light as the ship hurtled towards its destination. As they neared Drakvian Prime, Yosef reviewed the mission parameters with his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mara. "Our primary objective is to deploy these drones in key locations around the Drakvian capital. They will transmit real-time data back to our intelligence network." Mara nodded. "What about their planetary defenses?" Yosef smirked. "Venus is designed to avoid detection. We'll rely on our cloaking technology to get us in and out without being noticed. Once the drones are deployed, we'll slip away before they even know we were there." The ship dropped out of hyperspace on the outskirts of the Drakvian Prime system. The crew worked in hushed efficiency, every movement precise and calculated. Yosef navigated the ship through the outer defenses, the cloaking systems, humming as they masked the Venus presence. As they approached the planet, Yosef's eyes were fixed on the sensors. "Activate the stealth thrusters. Let's take it slow and steady." The ship glided towards the planet, its advanced sensors scanning for the optimal locations to deploy the drones. Yosef directed the ship to a low orbit, hidden from the Drakvian sensors by the planet's magnetic field. "Deploy the drones," Yosef ordered. The crew activated the launch mechanisms, and the small, sleek drones shot out from the Venus, descending towards the planet's surface. Each drone was equipped with advanced camouflage technology, making them virtually invisible to the naked eye and to most sensor arrays. Yosef monitored their progress on the holographic display. "Drones are in position. Initiating data link." The drones landed in their designated spots, their sensors coming online and transmitting data back to the Venus. Yosef watched as streams of information began to flow in, detailing troop movements, defensive positions, and key infrastructure points. "Mission accomplished," Yosef said, a note of satisfaction in his voice. "Now, let's get out of here before they realize what's happening." Venus retraced its path, slipping away from Drakvian Prime as silently as it had arrived. The crew worked with disciplined precision, their actions a testament to their training and Yosef's leadership. As they entered hyperspace, Yosef allowed himself a moment of relief. The mission had been a success, and the information they had gathered would prove invaluable in the coming battles. Venus and its crew had once again proven their worth, executing a delicate operation with skill and finesse. Yosef stood on the bridge, gazing out at the swirling patterns of hyperspace. The war was far from over, but with every successful mission, they inched closer to victory. And as long as he commanded Venus, Yosef would continue to be a thorn in the side of their enemies, striking from the shadows and leaving no trace behind. At the same time, in the vast reaches of space, a Terran squadron made its way towards the Zeta Trianguli system, led by Rear Admiral Carson aboard the battleship Montana. The squadron, composed of 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 2 frigates, moved with the precision and discipline characteristic of Terran military might. It had already been 2 days since they left Earth, and he still hadn't gotten used to the rank of Rear Admiral. Rear Admiral Carson stood on the bridge of the Montana, his gaze fixed on the holographic star map displaying their route. He was a seasoned officer, known for his strategic acumen and unyielding resolve. The mission at hand was crucial, and he was determined to see it through. "Status report," Carson commanded, his voice steady and authoritative. Commander Harris, his second-in-command, stepped forward. "All ships report ready, sir. We are maintaining formation and on schedule to reach Zeta Trianguli in 12 hours. The bridge buzzed with activity as the crew executed their tasks with practiced efficiency. The Montana was a formidable vessel, its massive guns and thick armor making it a floating fortress in space. Flanking it were the battleship Lexington, the cruisers Aurora, Odyssey, and Vanguard, the destroyers Tempest, Vortex, and Striker, and the frigates Comet and Meteor. Together, they formed a formidable force capable of taking on any threat. As they approached the edge of the Zeta Trianguli system, Carson called a meeting with his senior officers. They gathered in the war room, a large chamber dominated by a holographic display of the system. "Ladies and gentlemen, our mission is to be one of the vanguard in the coming battles, and I want you to be prepared. Now that we have entered the Zeta system, anything can happen. So keep your eyes open and your ships ready." All the officers in one voice said yes, sir. Chapter 13. Into the fray. In Zeta Trianguli 4 on the transport ship Namikaze, Captain Ivan was looking at a console that displayed the map of Beta Lyrae system. This system was the next to be invaded. His attention snapped to the holographic display as Admiral Darius's voice echoed through the bridge of the Namikaze. "Captain Ivan, come to the Invincible, we have a new mission for you." With a quick salute to his crew, he acknowledged the order before replying, "Understood, Admiral. On my way to the Invincible." As the communication link closed, Ivan turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Sophia. "Prepare for immediate departure. Set a course for the Invincible." Sophia nodded, her expression reflecting the urgency of the situation. "Aye, Captain." Setting course now. The Namikaze hummed to life as the engines roared to full power, propelling the ship towards its rendezvous with the Invincible. Ivan's mind raced with anticipation and determination. Whatever new mission awaited him, he was ready to face it head-on. Upon arrival at the Invincible, Ivan wasted no time in making his way to the bridge of the flagship. As he entered, he was greeted by the imposing figure of Admiral Darius, flanked by a retinue of officers, and Captain Yosef. In front of them was a large holographic displays showcasing the Beta Lyrae system. "Captain Ivan," Darius greeted, his voice resonating with authority. "I trust you're ready for your next assignment." Ivan stood at attention, his gaze unwavering. "Always ready, Admiral." Darius nodded approvingly before gesturing to the holographic display. "Beta Lyrae system is our next target. Intelligence reports indicate heavy Drakvian presence in the region. Your mission is to lead a strike force to disable their defensive installations and pave the way for the main fleet." Ivan's jaw tightened with determination. "Your ride there will be Captain Yosef and the destroyer Venus. Here are all the intelligence reports we received," says Admiral Darius in a solemn voice, handing a tablet to him. Looking at the tablet, Captain Ivan saw the layout of the system, the number of defending satellites, the number of ships, the blind ports of the system. He could see everything. "I trust that you will fulfill the mission. You have 2 days at your disposal to formulate a plan. You and Captain Yosef should discuss the mission and come up with a strategy," says Admiral Darius, laughing. "Consider it done, Admiral. We'll clear the way for the fleet." With a firm nod from Darius, Ivan turned on his heel and strode out of the bridge, followed by Captain Yusuf, his mind already racing with plans and strategies. Captain Ivan and Captain Yosef found themselves in one of the corridors of the Invincible, the hum of the ship's engines a constant background noise. "My name is Ivan," he says while extending his hand in front of Yosef. "Nice to meet you." "The pleasure is mine," says Yosef, smiling while taking his hand. Your fame precedes you. So, Captain Yosef, Ivan began, leaning against a wall with a casual air. Looks like we've got ourselves quite the mission ahead of us. Yosef nodded, his expression serious. Indeed, Captain Ivan. Beta Lyrae system won't be an easy nut to crack, especially with those Drakvian defenses. Ivan glanced down at the tablet in his hand, studying the data once more. Seems like they've fortified every inch of that system. But you know what they say, the tougher the challenge, the sweeter the victory. Yosef cracked a grin, his eyes lighting up with a hint of excitement. Couldn't agree more, Captain. And with the two of us leading the charge, those Drakvians won't know what hit them. Ivan chuckled, a sense of camaraderie forming between them. That's the spirit, Yosef. Together, we'll make quick work of those defenses and pave the way for the main fleet. Let's go. We'll have to come up with something, says Ivan. I have no doubt that we will do it, says Yosef. 2 days had passed in a blur of planning, strategizing, and briefings. Now, as the Venus approached the outskirts of the Beta Lyrae system, Captain Ivan and Captain Yosef stood side by side on the bridge, their gaze fixed on the swirling vortex of hyperspace ahead. Here we go, Ivan murmured, his voice tinged with anticipation. Yosef nodded, his hands clasped behind his back as he watched the display. Time to see if all our planning pays off. As the Venus slipped through the void of space, its cloaking systems shimmering with energy, Yosef couldn't help but feel a surge of anticipation. The mission ahead would test their skills again, but he was confident in his crew's abilities. Their destination loomed in the distance, a cluster of planets and moons guarded by a network of Drakvian defense satellites. Ivan and Yosef exchanged a silent nod, their resolve unwavering as they prepared to engage the enemy. With that, the two captains sprang into action, coordinating their forces with precision and skill. The destroyer Venus darted through the void, its stealth systems cloaking it from enemy detection as it closed in on the first target. Captain, Lieutenant Mara spoke up, her voice tinged with urgency. Enemy sensor activity detected on the outer fringes of the system. They're scanning for intruders. Yosef's jaw tightened with determination. Maintain course, but keep us at a safe distance. We don't want to risk detection until we're ready to strike. The tension aboard the Venus mounted as they skirted the edge of enemy territory, their stealth systems working overtime to evade detection. Every second felt like an eternity as they inched closer to their objective, the fate of the entire mission hanging in the balance. And then, as the Beta Lyrae system loomed large on the holographic display, Yosef gave the order they had been waiting for. Prepare to engage, he said, his voice steady with resolve. It's time to show the Drakvians what we're made of. With a chorus of acknowledgments, the crew of the Venus sprang into action, their training and expertise guiding them as they prepared to execute their daring mission. As they plunged deeper into enemy territory, the true test of their mettle awaited, their fate bound to the stars that lay ahead. Meanwhile, Captain Ivan made his way to the hangar where his men were ready to be deployed. Chapter 14. The Shadows of the Night. The Venus glided silently through the void, its cloaking systems rendering it nearly invisible to the Drakvian sensors. Captain Ivan stood beside Captain Yosef on the bridge, both men focused intently on the holographic display showing their approach to Beta Lyrae 3, a key planet in the Beta Lyrae system. Captain Ivan, Yosef said, breaking the silence. We've reached the drop point. Your strike team is ready for deployment. Ivan nodded, his expression resolute. Understood, Captain Yosef. Thank you for getting us this far. We'll take it from here. Yosef extended his hand, and Ivan shook it firmly. Good luck down there, Ivan. We'll be ready to provide support if you need it. With a final nod, Ivan turned and made his way to the deployment bay, where his strike team was assembled. Clad in their advanced combat armor, each member of the team checked their weapons and gear one last time. The atmosphere was tense, but there was also a palpable sense of determination. All right, team, Ivan addressed them, his voice steady and authoritative. We're about to make our descent onto Beta Lyrae 3. Our mission is to disable the planetary defense grid and secure a foothold for our forces. Stay sharp, stick to your training, and we'll get through this. The team responded with a chorus of affirmations. Ivan stepped into the drop pod, the rest of the team following suit. The hatch sealed with a hiss, and the pod detached from the Venus, plummeting towards the planet below. While the small ship made its descent through the atmosphere, it shook very violently. Okay guys, just like last time, stay in formation and follow the plan, and we'll all get home safe and sound, Captain Ivan says while doing his equipment check. The descent was swift and jarring, the pod shaking violently as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Brace for impact, Ivan shouted over the comms, gripping the handles inside the pod. The team members followed suit, their faces set in grim determination. The pod crashed into the surface with a bone-rattling jolt. The hatch blew open, and Ivan led his team out into the harsh terrain of Beta Lyrae 3. The sky above was dark, filled with ominous clouds, and the landscape was a mix of jagged rocks and sparse vegetation. In the distance, the glow of the Drakvian defense installations could be seen. "Move out," Ivan ordered, motioning for his team to follow. They advanced quickly, using the rugged terrain for cover. Their target was a heavily fortified bunker housing the main control center for the planetary defense grid. As they approached the bunker, they encountered their first resistance, a patrol of Drakvian soldiers. Ivan signaled for his team to take up positions, and they engaged the enemy with precision and efficiency. The Drakvians were caught off guard, and within moments, the patrol was neutralized. "Good work," Ivan said, leading his team towards the bunker. "Stay alert. We're not done yet." They reached the bunker entrance, a massive, reinforced door. Ivan placed a breaching charge on the door, and the team took cover as it exploded inward. They stormed the bunker, encountering fierce resistance from the Drakvian soldiers inside. The confined space made for brutal close-quarters combat, but Ivan and his team fought with relentless determination. "Target the control room," Ivan shouted over the din of battle. "We need to disable those defenses." Pushing forward, they fought their way through the bunker, finally reaching the control room. "Johnny, do your thing," says Captain Ivan in a serious voice. Johnny Crow was their software expert. He was specially chosen for this mission. His job was to upload a virus into their network to disrupt their defensive satellites before they destroyed the control room. While Johnny was doing his job, the others were looking for intelligence that could help them in the future. While Ivan was looking at some maps he found, he heard a voice. "I'm ready. These bastards won't be able to do anything with those satellites," Johnny says, laughing. "Okay guys, we're ready here." Ivan's voice rang through their intercom. Ivan's demolitions expert cammed forward and set the charges on the control console, while the rest of the team maintained their defensive positions. The charges detonated, sending sparks and debris flying as the control systems were destroyed. "Defense grid is down," the demolitions expert confirmed. "Good," Ivan replied. "Now, let's get out of here before reinforcements arrive." As Captain Ivan and his team battled on the surface of Beta Lyrae 3, the destroyer Venus was hard at work in orbit. Captain Yosef stood on the bridge, overseeing the delicate operation of laying mines throughout the Beta Lyrae system. "Deploy the first set of mines near the jump points," Yosef ordered, his eyes fixed on the holographic map of the system. "We need to ensure any incoming Drakvian reinforcements." The crew of the Venus worked swiftly and efficiently. Automated drones were dispatched from the destroyer's bays, each carrying a deadly payload of proximity mines. These mines were designed to detect and target enemy ships, unleashing devastating explosions upon contact. As the drones spread out across the system, Yosef monitored their progress closely. "Set the mines to stealth mode," he instructed. "We don't want the Drakvians detecting them until it's too late, Captain." The tactical officer responded, inputting the necessary commands. The drones activated their cloaking devices, rendering the mines invisible to enemy sensors. "Captain, we've received word from the ground team," the communications officer reported. "Captain Ivan and his team have disabled the planetary defense grid." Yosef allowed himself a brief smile of satisfaction. "Excellent. That should make our job a bit easier. Continue with the mine deployment. We need to cover all strategic points in the system." The Venus moved gracefully through the void, its drones spreading out in a carefully orchestrated pattern. Mines were placed near asteroid belts, planetary orbits, and key navigational routes. The goal was to create a deadly web that would ensnare any Drakvian ships attempting to reinforce their positions or launch a counterattack. As the last of the mines were deployed, Yosef turned his attention to the tactical display. "How are we looking?" "All mines are in position and operational, Captain," the tactical officer replied. "Stealth mode is active, and they're primed to detonate upon detecting Drakvian vessels." "Good," Yosef said, nodding. "Now we wait. Inform Captain Ivan that our trap is set. Any Drakvians entering the system will be in for a nasty surprise." Back in the bunker, Venus has completed the mine deployment, Ivan informed his team. "We're not out of the woods yet, but this will give us a significant advantage. Let's hope the Drakvians take the bait," one of his soldiers remarked, checking his weapon. "I'd love to see their faces when they hit those mines." Ivan chuckled, the tension of battle momentarily giving way to camaraderie. "Indeed. But for now, we focus on securing our position here. Reinforcements will be arriving soon, and we need to be ready." The team made their way back to the surface, emerging from the bunker just as a Drakvian dropship arrived, disgorging fresh troops. Ivan ordered his team to hold their ground, using the terrain to their advantage. They engaged the enemy with everything they had, buying time for their extraction. "Venus, this is Ivan," he called over the comms. "We need immediate extraction, sending coordinates now." "Copy that, Ivan," Yosef's voice came through. "Extraction team en route. Hold tight." As the battle raged on, the roar of engines signaled the arrival of the extraction dropship. Ivan and his team fought their way towards it, fending off waves of Drakvian soldiers. With the final push, they reached the dropship, piling in as it lifted off. Sparks were flying everywhere from the projectiles hitting that little ship as it made its ascent through the atmosphere. Inside, Captain Ivan and his crew held tight and laughed. "Mission accomplished," Ivan said, panting heavily. "Beta Lyrae 3 is ours." The small craft made its way to the destroyer Venus and attached itself. With a sense of relief, Captain Ivan exits and goes to the command deck,